Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the St. Louis Art Q&A from the Family Support Team here. I'm Sharon Spurlock, the Senior Director of Family Education, and I'm so glad that you've joined us today to learn a little bit more about our St. Louis Public Library. We've shared with you information from St. Louis County, and now it's St. Louis City's turn to share what they bring to the table, and it's such a wonderful partnership. They've got lots of great resources as well that people all over the region can take advantage of. So without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Joe and Marissa for introductions and we'll get going. Welcome to our Q&A. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joe Monahan. I am the Director of Youth Services at St. Louis Public Library. And I'm here with my colleague Marissa Owen, who is the Community Engagement Librarian at Booter Library in South City, who will be speaking about services for adults and other things later. I'm going to start off by talking about resources that we have available for kids and families. Well, I was really excited, and I should say up front, thank you for inviting us to be a part of this. We've worked with the St. Louis Arc in a number of ways in the past. We have families and youth coming in all the time, and we love seeing you. So I was excited to get this chance to talk. So just really quickly up front, the bare basics. St. Louis Public Library, we serve the city of St. Louis. We have 15 locations all around the city, so you're never too far from a library location. You don't have to live in the city to make use of St. Louis Public Library. Obviously, if you do, if you work or attend school in the city, you qualify for a free card. If you have a St. Louis County Library card, you can get a St. Louis Public card. So we, in the city and county, I think have done a really great job of reducing as many barriers as possible to accessing the library. And even if you don't feel like getting a card, you can still come make use of our spaces, attend any of our programs. Everything we do is free. So, just up top, my little library spiel. A little bit about St. Louis Public and my job. I say my day job is to make sure all of our 15 locations are safe, welcoming, and enriching places for kids and families. So, making sure that anyone can walk in the door and have a positive library experience. So we work really hard to make the library youth-centered and a youth-friendly space. I have a quote from our policy here that St. Louis Public Library encourages children to visit and is dedicated to providing a safe and welcoming environment for them. And I just want to emphasize that doesn't mean we tolerate children there. It means we want them to be there. And I added my own note at the bottom, even if they act like kids. So that's one of the things I have all the time. I'll talk to parents and families about a cool program we have coming up, and I'll hear, oh, well, not my kid. Oh, my kid's not going to be quiet enough for the library. And I tell them, yes, they will. It'll be fine. Trust me. We want you to be there. We know that kids and sometimes adults are still learning, volume expectations for different spaces. Also, you might be a little bit surprised at how noisy in a good way some of our children's spaces are at the library. So, if there's one takeaway before I get into the specifics, is we want your kids at the library. We will be so excited to see you. So a few of the things we do, we offer a ton of free programming. So we have in any given month, about 200 free programs for early childhood kids and teens across the city. It can look like all kinds of different things, depending if you're into story time or STEM or maker spaces. Some examples here. This is a performance that we did at Central Library. So we'll bring in outside groups to do free performances and invite kids in. This is from our Live at SLPL program. But we do all kinds of things for all kinds of audiences. Over here on the right, this is one of my favorite ones. We did a dad story time at Booter Library a couple months ago. That was a real hoot and really, sought to draw dads into the space. And come enjoy story time with their kids. So as you can see by the smiling faces, we had a lot of fun. These are two pictures I liked. We offer a lot more than this. So, just want you to know that there's a real breadth of what's available. And now I'm going to do something dangerous because I'm going to try to switch from my PowerPoint to our website. So if you're interested in programming on our website, this is slpl.org. You can just go click on the events tab here. And this will bring you through. There is a ton here, like I said. So I really recommend filtering and searching. You can filter by the location you're interested in, or you can also do it by the age group that you're looking for, or the event type. Or if you're looking for something specific, you can just search for it directly. So I'm just going to show you, I love story time. So I'm going to search story time here, and you see it. It pulls up all our different story times that we're offering across the system. I'm just going to pull up a random one. Something I want to highlight too that can be helpful for people is for all of our youth programming, we do include sensory considerations. So you can see on here with our story time, there's potential for close proximity, shared space with other participants, some bright colors, loud noises, singing and clapping. So, you know, um, because we do so many, we included pretty basic sensory considerations there. If you have more specific questions, you can reach out. So you can see on this one, we have the phone number, the email address of the staffer leading the program. So if you had more specific questions or request of like, hey, just a heads up, my kid can sometimes struggle with XYZ. Could you let us know what to expect? We welcome and encourage those kind of things, and we want to tailor our programs to the kids who are coming. So please do that. You can also see a number on here to request more specific accommodations. So examples of things we sometimes get, we can do an ASL interpreter for programs. We offer that at some of our programs even without requests, but for any program, if that's a barrier and you give us time, we'll make that happen for you. So, please reach out for those things, and please let our staff know what's going to be helpful for them. So these are pre-planned programs. Something else I really want to encourage with ARC2, if you have a group that you want to bring to the library, we will plan something just for you. So you're always welcome to come to things that are on the calendar. But if I know 10 kids are going to be coming to the library, tell me when and we'll be there, we'll be ready, and we will do something based on their interests and their needs. So if you have teens who want to be, doing 3D printing, or, you're looking for something on a specific topic, let us know. So I'm going to stay on the website just to show you probably the easiest way if you're interested in doing that. If you click over here on services, one of our landing pages is educators, and we have a field trip request form. So that's not just for schools. So you can click on this. It'll take you to a Google form. And we're in the process of updating this. It might look a little bit different when you do it in the future, but you can share the basics of who you're bringing, what location you want to go to, when you want to go. Our staff will follow up with you to make that happen. So as long as you give us enough time, what's really hard is when people the week of say they want to bring 30 kids to the library, and sometimes we're not able to do that just from a scheduling perspective. But generally, if you give us advance notice, we love to make that happen. So please keep that in mind. You can also request an outreach visit from us if you want us to come to you. So you can fill out these forms, or if you're interested in a specific location, you can always just go into that location, talk to staff, give them a phone call. Few other things I want to make you all aware of. We are unique amongst public libraries in that we have really robust free summer camp offerings. We're offering 70 free summer camps this summer. These are week-long enrichment camps. So they're not full day camps. They're typically, they can range from under an hour to over 3 hours, depending on the age group and the specific camp. We bring in outside presenters to do really cool programs based on what kids are interested in. So you can see here, this is a balance bike camp here on the left. That was a lot of fun. They kind of set up an obstacle course. That's one where caregivers participated with their kids. Over here on the right, this is Circus Harmony doing their circus camp. They do it with us every summer, and kids love it. But it really runs the gamut. We always have some cool, interesting, weird ones because we know kids are interested in different things. One I especially want to highlight is we're working with the zoo to offer a new camp called Unique Animals. And this camp is specifically designed for children with significant intellectual or developmental disabilities. And to go back, all of our camps will make accommodations for kids, right? So you can always reach out for any camp you're interested in. Say, hey, my kid is interested in this. Here are some needs they have. Can we make that work? And we make that work whenever we can. So I don't want you to feel like you can only come to this unique animals camp, but I highlight this as one that could be really great. And the zoo is really gung ho and excited about this. So this is one where we are limiting to kids with significant disabilities who would benefit most from that environment. So that again is available on our website. There's a banner to click through to camps. I should have had a link on here, but I'm thinking of that right now. Okay. As we're getting towards summer, I also want to highlight our summer reading and engagement program. We call it STL Summer Adventure. This is a shared program we do with the county library. Um, so for all age groups, 0 to 17, we put together these booklets that kids can pick up at the library when they register for the program. It's free to register. You don't need a card. You get a free book just for signing up. So go in, get your book. You'll get this booklet, and we offer all kinds of activities for kids. And it's choose your own adventure. So instead of us, given a homework assignment of do these 10 things and you can get a prize, we came up with 50 things that could be great or exciting for kids this summer that they can pick from based on their interests. They do any 10. It's things you can do as a family, things you can do at home, at the library, out in the community. Everything on here you can do for free. And we loop in a lot of our awesome community partners. So there's stuff at the Science Center, there's stuff at the Botanical Garden, there's stuff at the Magic House. And all of those have options where you can participate for free. So that is a really cool thing. I encourage you to check out this summer. A parent gave us the feedback last summer of like, this was my rainy day thing when I had a Saturday with my kids and I wasn't sure what to do. We opened the booklet, we picked 3 things, and it made for a great day. So a really great resource to make sure, summer is an enriching time for your kids. Okay, a few other resources. I know I'm talking quick, but I want to make sure there's time for questions. We offer after school meals currently at 5 locations. We also typically offer this at our Julia Davis Library, which is closed for tornado repairs, but is reopening really, really soon. And we'll offer it again there when it does. But we offer free after school meals at a lot of our locations. Again, this is for any kids or teens, no questions asked. They can come in, get a nutritious meal, and we'll have some educational programming, crafts, activities they can do while they're there. We also partner with the Diaper Bank to offer diaper distribution. Again, currently at 3 of our libraries, Carpenter, Central, and Walnut Park. This is on our website, and I have the schedule here, but I do say confirm that ahead of time because it's specific times that we're able to offer those at those locations. Where you can come in, get a free pack of diapers for your child. A couple other lesser known things maybe that I wanted to highlight. We offer a really cool thing called Lit Kits. These are early literacy kits. This is this little tote bag that you can check out from the library, and everything you see pictured comes in that bag. You just check out one thing, where it has picture books, board books that focus on a specific concept. And it includes like activities, manipulatives that can go along with it. It's meant to encourage families reading together and engaging with literacy together. So you can see the one here is an alphabet one. We've got great fun picture books and also some fun activities to engage with kids around that. For older kids, for kids who are starting to read on their own or want to read on their own, we have another really great product we offer. It's called the Lit Kit Phonics. So these are books that are targeted at specific kind of phonics letter patterns and sounds. We can help you if you don't even know where to start with that. But basically, they're numbered 1 to 10. They go from more simple to more complicated. So if you're working with a kid on their reading, regardless of their age, and they're in that phonics stage where they're working on sounding out words, reading on their own, these are a really, really, really cool tool. I've been excited about. I'm using them as a dad right now and give it a thumbs up with it. So I encourage you to check those out. And finally, and then I'm going to let other people talk, I promise. Another lesser known thing that I wanted to highlight, we have a really cool partnership with the Magic House. They have their space made, which is over in the Delmar Maker District near Delmar and Union. It is a really cool kind of giant makerspace exploration area for kids. If you've never been, it skews a little bit older than the Magic House, so it's more for those school age, elementary school age kids into middle school. It's a space they normally charge admission for, but you can check out a pass from the library. So you can go to the library, check out a pass that gets your family in free. You just drop it off when you get there. So, just a way you can use the library, make your life a little bit easier, save a little bit of money, and have some fun experiences with your kids. Okay. I think I've talked enough. So I'm going to pause and see if anybody has questions that I could get
Oh,
to now.
Joe, do we have questions? You have
I
won
hope
the
I have answers.
prize already for most questions asked in a Q&A. Although I will say you guys also are winning a prize because a lot of these are thank yous. A lot of people are thanking you for being so welcoming to all their families, thanking you for thinking about the sensory things that are going on. So that's really awesome. Marissa, I'll just say that some of these are not kid specific, so feel free to take turns and jump in on this. The first question is about
Actually,
St.
Sharon, I'm sorry. After I just said I talked too much, the sensory thing reminded me. I skipped something I was going to say. We also have sensory kits in all of our children's areas. So
That's
they
one of the questions.
Okay. Hey, look at this. Read your mind. So those are just available behind the desk. You don't need a card, no questions asked. So they include things like noise dampening headphones, weighted lap pads, fidget, different kind of fidget devices depending on the needs of the kids. So we will have those out. I was at one of our performances, we had people, the rep in doing a play, and noticed one kid kind of covering their ears, and it was great just to be able to bring one over to them. So we'll have them out a lot of times, but you can also always request them.
Fantastic. The first question is just logistic. Can St. Charles County residents utilize the city library? And do they need to do anything specific to do that?
You have to request written permission from me to. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, please do, please. And Marissa, this is where my circ policy is not up to date, but St. Charles residents qualify for a city card as well, correct? Okay. Just want to.
Fantastic.
This
So
is
it's
being
regional.
recorded. Yes. So I mean, come in anytime, and I speak with plenty of families from St. Charles who come in for specific programs, but we'd love to have you.
Terrific. And is parking free at all of your libraries?
Yes. So yeah, we do. Not all of our libraries have lots because we're a city location, right? So some of them, you're parking in the neighborhood nearby. The one I will say, so Central Library is in the heart of downtown. If you've never been, it's amazing. You should go. Parking downtown can be a little more complicated. We do have a gated lot. If you call the library ahead of time, they'll give you instructions for getting into that lot. So
Ooh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, there you go.
All right, fantastic. So this is a pretty specific question for the zoo summer camp that said it was for ages 6 to 12 and a comprehension level of kindergartner to second grade. Is there any loophole that would allow someone that's older than 12 but is also at that right comprehension level to attend?
Yeah, I would say if let's have a conversation about that and let's loop the zoo into it. So I want to say yes to everything, but I'd want the zoo to be a part of that too, and just make sure that we can provide a really good experience for your kid. But I would love to do that. So I don't know, Sharon, if you're able to connect, or I put my email at the end. Please, reach out to me.
So there's some questions in regards to the free meal program. I think that's so important for people to remember that that's available.
Yeah.
Do you know those are put together by Food Outreach,
Operation Food Search.
Operation Food Search? Do you know what kind of is it a bag lunch, that kind of a thing?
So it varies a little bit by location, because I'm getting into a lot of detail, but some of our locations, based on fridge space, can't do fresh meals, or based on the
Mm-hmm.
numbers we give out. So the ones where we can do fresh meals, there'll be like a deli sandwich a lot of times, things like that, and then there's usually kind of an assortment of snack type things along with it, and with our shelf stable too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like prepackaged stuff, but I'd say again, as a parent, I think of it as stuff on like the healthier end of the spectrum. So you might get like a turkey meat stick, and sun butter, some kind of they don't do nut butter, I don't think, in any of them, or different, they've got all kinds of like different hummuses, things like that.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
usually it's kind of like
nutritious and filling.
Yeah, a kid charcuterie approach to these
I
things. There's a
love that.
assortment.
And I was unclear about do you prefer if people register for that, or is it just a walk in and
Just show
grab?
up. Yeah, and I
Awesome.
would say that's a great question. We on our website, if you look, some things like camps, we require pre-registration. So there are some specific things. For the vast majority of our youth and family programming, and really all programming, it's a just show up situation. So we'd
Lovely.
love to have you. They're very specific things. If there's something we know is going to be crazy popular and it's a small space, we'll sometimes require just because we don't want people to have to get turned away at the door.
Wonderful. We're all about the food at the St. Louis Arc. So there's
Uh,
also a question about the summer meals. Do you know yet whether there'll be some summer meal options also at the libraries?
Yeah, so the ones you saw, the plan is to continue. We're still processing the application, all of that stuff. But yeah, those locations we offer year round. So we and with very limited exceptions, we just keep the same times because we find that typically is easiest for kids and families. So we still
Okay.
offer them in that kind of after school slot.
Okay. I thought you
So
might expand them in the summer where there was less food access.
no, so those are the locations, and some of that is based on Operation Food Search wants us to have minimum traffic levels for them to justify them doing deliveries and those things. So those are the locations where we have the ability to offer those meals.
Wonderful. All right, I'm
Yeah.
going to ask the three questions that are up here now, and then the rest of y'all, you're going to have to wait till get to hear from Marissa. So, I was interested in this too. We have a lot of adults that are interested in being librarians, and a lot of teenagers that we're working with in summer work experience. Do you have any kind of summer jobs or volunteer opportunities for teens?
Yeah, absolutely. So we host a ton of teen volunteers, and I would because a lot of times with ARC, and we've talked in the past. There's like I don't know the right term, a coach or Sharon. Can you, is coach what you call them?
If they're paid, it's a coach, but it could be some other kind of support person. I'm sure that we've used the library in our neighborhood experience programs. We're a staff partner, and
Yeah,
one or two teenagers are going in to volunteer. So, um,
yeah, yeah,
I know
and
we've
we'd
had
be
people
interested.
read in the kids' story times and do some shelving and a variety of jobs. Is there a librarian or staff that I could talk to explain exactly what I'm looking for my family? I have suggestions for my kids' teachers, but I find it difficult to search through everything and wondered if I could just talk to somebody about what we're looking for.
And I don't know if we can do a follow or a clarification on that. It sounds like they're talking about like books or library materials to check
I think
out.
so, yes. I think it
Um,
can be daunting to go into the library and see all those shelves of books. And unless you have a title specifically, I think it can be a hard thing to know what the best options are. And when I read that question, I think that's a librarian's dream is to have somebody come up and
yeah,
ask
yeah.
that question.
So the short answer is absolutely yes. So you could just walk into any of our locations. I will say if you're looking for really specific things, it can be helpful. If you just go into a location, we'll help you with what's available on the shelves there. But if we have more time or know ahead of time, we can pull from across the system to really tailor that. So I would say the short, again, my email will be on here. Just email me and I'll get you connected based on where you want to pick up or the books or wherever. I'll get you connected to the right person. But we can totally do that, and we love to do that.
Fantastic. Final question. Is there any tutoring available through the library?
Yeah, so we do reading tutoring. We actually already wrapped up our spring season. It's a partnership with WashU Campus YMCA, where we actually have students from WashU come in and do reading tutoring. We will be offering it again in the fall, so stay tuned for that.
Well, that's exciting. I thought you were going to say we are not in the business of tutoring, so well done. The
Yeah.
library is in the business of everything, folks. So you just have to assume if I need it, I should just go to the library. So,
Well,
uh,
and that's when I was so excited to get started because we do people ask us that a lot. A lot of times our locations we have 3 staff members running a neighborhood location. So a staff can't always sit and work with a kid for an hour. So that's why the partnership of it, and we're very appreciative of the WashU Campus Y, where they're training the people and bring them in, and we just host and support them, which has worked really great.
awesome. All
Yeah.
right, let's carry on.
So I'm Marissa again. I'm the community engagement librarian at Booter, and we're going to switch over and kind of talk about adult services and resources. So basically, more of what we might see in a branch and not the kids section. So first off, we have a lot of online resources. So you can access these in our libraries, and you can also access these with a library card online. And these are available 24/7 online with that library card. So I know my favorite are the ebooks and audiobooks. So we have Libby and Hoopla, which again, if you live in another county, you can get a St. Louis City card and you can add on to your Libby. So you can have multiple libraries and have all the options. That's definitely what I enjoy doing. And then you can stream movies, TV, and music. We have Hoopla and Freegal for that, which Hoopla, I will say, is a little picky. So you do have to be a city resident to get that. But if you live in the county, you can get it through the county. And I think if you live in St. Charles, you can get it through St. Charles. So Hoopla is the only one that's, I think, a bit more picky about that. We also have access to digital newspapers and magazines. So that's going to be like the New York Times, St. Louis Post Dispatch, Newsbank, and Libby as well, which is great because I know we always hit those pay barriers. So we have most of them online that you can read for free and don't need to pay for those. Kids and teens online, there's homework help, research tools. That's going to be Explora, Gale in Context, World Book, which if you go to the website, you can do the online resources by category because there's a lot and it's hard to remember the names. So just you can always look at those resources by section as well. There's genealogy and family history. We have ancestry, Fold 3, Heritage Quest. We also have a whole department at Central that can help with these. It's a genealogy department. They're also happy to sit down with you or email or chat through any questions you have with any of those and can help with any really specific request. Online learning, we have LinkedIn Learning, Creative Bug, which is going to be like arts and crafts. So there, if you're wanting to like follow a painting tutorial, they have those kind of things. Mango is our equivalent of like Duolingo. So learning languages, there's no pay barriers. You're not going to run out of time. You can keep going as long as you want. Very fun. So there's Mango, Brain Fuse, Gale courses, and New York Times cooking. So all of those are really fun to explore. And then small business resources. We have Gale Business, Plan Builder, Reference Solutions. There's lots and lots of resources. We have them divided by categories. We don't expect you to remember all those names. You can also always call or walk in and we can walk you through those as well. And again, these are some of my favorites. Just wanted to share what they look like. Again, Ancestry, New York Times, Mango, and Libby and Hoopla. We also, which I think I'll get to it later on, we have public technology assistants who can walk anyone through how to use these one-on-one, or sometimes popping in, there might be someone available to help as well. So yeah, technology resources. So kind of what I was saying, that Tech Connect, we can have someone sit down with you one-on-one to help with most technology problems. This can be in person, over the phone, email, Zoom. If you have a very niche question, ask us. We might have someone who knows. So always ask, and we'll try to find the person best suitable to help you if it's something that you think is very niche and out there. But any type of general request of, I want to learn how to format a Word document, I want to create a Google account, I want to learn your databases or something specific about the library, we're happy to sit down and help. And we have free Wi-Fi. So every location is going to have free Wi-Fi. So you can always just bring in your own laptop and work, find a quiet corner and work. We also, again, have computers available that all you need is that library card. Can do that. We also have technology classes. They are free. They cover a wide variety of technology topics. It can be basic skills like keyboarding, or kind of what is a computer class. There can be internet skills, popular digital tools, like we'll have Libby classes, we'll have catalog classes, we'll even have Canva classes, like how to create a flyer, how to create a social media post. So lots of different things. Just explore through that program tab for technology classes, and you'll see that there's such a wide variety, and they're really fun, and it can lead to, again, if you have specific questions, you can do a Tech Connect after, and they can walk you through more specifically too. So no technology skill is out of reach. And then one of the things I find most exciting is with that library card, you're going to get a free $5 print credit and copy credit. So that's 50 black and white pages, and then color pages are 25 cents each. So that's a decent amount for the normal person. I mean, you could get most of your printing done completely free. And if you're a family, then you have $5 per card for each family member. And if you need to fax, we do that for free. Just ask someone at the desk because our fax code does change quite often. So we're happy to walk you through that each time you need to fax. And then study and workspaces. At Booter Library, we have a row of quiet rooms. I believe Carpenter does as well. And then in general, we just have nice quiet corners, or potentially if you walk in, we might even be able to put you in a meeting room if you have a meeting or something you need to do a bit more privately. So libraries are still a great place to kind of sit down and work and study, and a lot of our libraries have spaces to accommodate for that. So kind of shifting to a resource that we offer is we have books by mail. So say you know someone, or you are someone that can't make it to the library due to a disability, an illness, or age. All we request, I think, is just and you fill out an application, you have a physician or caregiver sign stating that this service is needed, and the library will mail items directly to your home, and they get returned through USPS. And you can call and request books. I think you can go online and request books. So it works very much like how you would request now. You just don't have to come to the library to pick them up. It's a great service if you can't get out of your home and need some assistance getting those items to you. And I have the contact information on there as well. But we also have the Excel High School program. So this would be if anyone who's 25 years and older, is a city resident, and has at least completed 8th grade is eligible to apply, and it is getting an actual adult high school diploma. So it's not just getting a GAD, you're actually going to have that high school diploma. Classes are online and self-paced. It is limited, but if you do know anyone interested in applying, keep applying. So there's windows of times, and you might not get it the first time, but you might get it the next time. So I keep saying, always apply, keep an eye on that window. And I know sometimes there's a lot of questions with that. So I have, again, the number, and you can always email to chat more about that program. So next is certain branches are going to offer voter registration, passport, and notaries. So I think all branches have notary services and voter registration services. Passport services are going to be at our regionals, our bigger branches. So that's Booter, Carpenter, Central, and Julia Davis. So with notary services, it's completely free. You don't even have to have a card or technically be a resident to get it. Whoever's signing would just need to see an ID, and don't sign it ahead of time. Easy enough. But if you have lots of documents, just call ahead of time to make sure someone's there. And weekend availability can be iffy sometimes. So again, just call if you're unsure about a certain branch. But typically, walk-ins are welcome, and we're happy to help. Passports, we do have appointments only for that. So you can call to set up an appointment or visit our website. We have a online request form that someone will reach out to you. But we explain the whole process, walk you through what you need. You come in, and we'll get it done in one kind of sitting. A lot of our locations even have photo booths now, so one less thing that you have to run out and get. We also do have accommodations for that setup through the State Department, so we can always call, let us know what you need, and we can see what we can do. So we definitely have procedures in place for that. And voter registration, again, just walk in, say you need to register to vote, and we'll help you fill that out. Easy enough. So we also, on the adult side, have a legal assistance program that's the third Thursday of each month at Central Library. So this covers a wide variety of help. Could be civil legal assistance, housing issues, youth and family advocacy, family law issues, children's educational advocacy. We partner with the Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. So if you have any questions about it, I have that number on there, and you can speak with the legal services intake worker. And then I know people have a lot of questions about is our creative experience. There are so many things you can create, and it's very, very fun. So I do recommend going if you haven't. So this is at Central Bar and Julia Davis once it reopens. Again, Julia Davis is still closed. But what can you create? 3D printing and modeling, laser cutting, embroidery machines, Cricut machines, audio and video production, graphic and web design, game development, virtual reality, large format printing, all of so many softwares available. If in doubt, check the website or give the creative experience a call. I wish I knew all the things. I don't know all the things. So please call, check them out. They also can help teach you how to use all of these one-on-one. So highly recommend if you're wanting to get into any of these, if you have a small business, nonprofit, or know anyone, great way to print out large format things or work on social media with those fancier softwares that we don't have in all of the regular branches. Very, very cool. Highly recommend. And all of the staff can help walk you through what you need to do. And they also have programs to teach you these things as well. 3D printing basics, makerspace workshops, like family crafts and film events. So always lots of cool things. I always recommend checking them out. And they also do the equivalent of a Tech Connect with all of these. So please reach out. And again, your $5 print credit will also go towards any of these costs to print any of these. So say you're like, well, I don't want to print, I just want to print a large poster. They'll put the cost of that poster towards your $5. Same with any 3D printing or anything like that. So you can do a lot of this for free still. Or if you have to pay extra, it's only the cost of the supplies. So the cheapest you're going to find it anywhere else to print large scale, to 3D print, to laser print, to anything like that. I think this is kind of the last thing I have is adult programs. So just like youth, we have such a wide variety of programs and things. And I always recommend just checking the website for things you're interested in, or if you have certain branches you want to go to, checking those out. But we have arts and crafts, career and small business classes, resume and job search support, small business, book groups, author talks, special interest discussion groups, health and wellness, yoga classes, movie showings, and so much more. Like at Booter, I put that we have a paint and sip. And with any of these classes, we also can make accessibility happen. Just give us that call ahead of time and we will see what we can do. And it's also the same of if we have an adult group coming in, give the branch a call, give us a call, and we would love to put on something special, especially if we have enough people. So same thing as Joe said for youth, we're happy to see what we can do. So just some other offerings, like we do bingo, and there's prizes. We have kids books as prizes, DVDs sometimes, lots of books. So lots of fun things. Monday matinees. We have a book club that's legally reading, fiber arts craft session. So a lot of knitters and crocheters will come and hang out and knit and learn new skills from each other. So lots of different programs and things going on. I think with these, I tried to put in ones that are more reoccurring. So these are still programs that you're going to see happening this month. And we'll have lots of adult programs for spring and summer that are new and exciting. So I always recommend checking it out. And I think if we go to the next slide, it should be yes. Do we have any more questions?
So many. This has been a very competitive question session. And you've answered some of them. Somebody had asked about whether you hosted book clubs, which clearly you do, and whether or not they could just have their book club come. And it sounds like that would be one of the groups that you might welcome. Somebody thought that having a book club at the Central Library would be a big wow.
Yeah, we for meeting room, we do have groups are allowed to use meeting rooms. There is a request form online that you can request for certain libraries. You can request 3 months out in advance. And as long as it's an organization or a group, there's certain policies. So as long as you're within that policy, we're happy to get you all a room. And in general too, we're always excited to partner with groups to bring in new types of programs as well that can also be library affiliated if we're wanting to grow certain groups.
You mentioned the dad's reading storytelling group earlier. Do you offer any other support groups that are geared towards parents at the library or events that are parent oriented?
I'm so glad you asked. One of my favorite things this spring, this past Saturday, we just had a parent resource fair at Central Library. That was more targeted to like new parents. So it was car seat classes, things like that. In the literacy space, we offer 2 workshops that are really cool. One is called Building Bookworms, and that is really early literacy. So with those young ages, kind of in the pre-readers. And then another one that I'm actually going to be offering this evening, if you really want to have a day with me, it's virtual. It's called This Family Reads. And that's one I'm super duper excited about. That is for caregivers to attend with their kid. And what we do with that is we get into kind of the brain science of how kids learn to read, the path that most kids follow on their way to independent reading. And then we do hands on practice in the sessions of caregivers working with their kids. So it's really cool. I'm very passionate about it. I encourage you to check those out. Those are big recurring ones because obviously like literacy is at the core of what the library does. But we have offered different kind of one-off partnerships with groups throughout. So again, also if you see a need or a gap too, feel free to email us because we, when we're planning programs and events, we try to respond to the community needs. So we take that feedback really seriously when people reach out to us.
Excellent. And I will remind you from the ARC side of things that we have support groups for every imaginable demographic. We have groups for young families, families that have older adult children. We have dads, we have moms groups, all kinds of different options. So if you're not familiar with our support groups, please go check those out on our webpage. There's just some questions just about the library in general and how fabulous and old it is. Looking at all of your locations and some that are clearly older than others, which is the oldest original location? Or which are the oldest locations? Maybe there's two or three.
Marissa, I'm really hoping you got this one.
Well, Central is going to be the original, so that is the oldest, and it not too long ago went through like a huge remodel. It's beautiful. It's always ranked one of like the most beautiful libraries in the country, and that has been confirmed by multiple different lists. So I'm allowed to say it. I highly
Heck yeah.
recommend. We do tours. I'm blanking on when those tours are, but they are free. So you can tour and learn about the actual, it is like a Carnegie library as well. For other Carnegie libraries, it's going to be Carpenter and Cabanine. However, Cabanine is also closed due to the tornado, but they are working on restoring that as well. I think.
And
Those
Carondelet. I actually knew one more that you didn't. Sorry, our
and
Carondelet
Carondelet.
library.
Nice. And that's in
She
my
wasn't
region. I'm
done,
blinking.
Joe.
I was, yeah, Carondelet as well. So they are our original Carnegies, so they are going to be the oldest. Now we do have some branches who have been around for a while, but they have moved. Like I know Booter has moved twice since its original location. We used to be in the old Records Exchange on Hampton, if anybody kind of
Oh,
knows
yeah.
Hampton. And then it used to be in an elementary school. I do know that for Booter. The others, I would love a history lesson on all of our branches.
I
But
see an event. There it is.
there we
Uh,
go.
and then how is the library funded? You guys do so much with your dollars. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so a lot of our funding comes from the property taxes. So I don't hold me, and Joe can correct me too if he knows more on the percentages. I think like 70 to 80, if not a little more, come from that tax that property owners pay into that the city did vote for. And then we do have a foundation that helps raise some money for a lot of our programs. And then there is some like federal and state funding, but it is more minimal. Unlike I know smaller libraries do typically receive more when it comes to state and federal funding. So there's a few pots it's coming from, but for the most part, our residents and our businesses help pay for that and help support. So it's going right back to you all in terms of services and materials.
Yeah,
Money well spent, y'all.
I actually want to say it's over 90% is local property tax. So it is really the city of St. Louis supports us, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and take advantage of this. You know, this is one of those things you can feel great about. Look at what my taxes are paying for. I can go down to the library in one day, pick up an after-school snack, get some diapers, maybe pick up a lit kit or get our free pass to go to the maid facility. What a great use of a couple hours of your time in the afternoon. I think that's just really cool. So I've got two more questions. I don't know if you've got a couple more minutes we can answer quickly. All right. So
Yeah.
one of them is just if I'm at the library all day working on homework or research, is there a break room or someplace where I can grab a snack without having to leave and come back?
I know that's the bad part. The library, I will say, we don't really have a good spot to like eat a meal. We do allow light snacks, so nothing like hot, just, like something that comes, a little snacky. We even have some vending machines in some branches, so obviously we're fine with light snacks. Unfortunately, if you do want a meal, we do ask that, you head out for a little bit and then just come on back.
It might be better for your homework if you go outside and get a little fresh air and eat a sack lunch or find a restaurant. I know that Booter, there's a ton of options that are very walkable to the Booter Library. So, and the last question I think is pretty logistical, but it's just about that. Using both a city library and a county library card in the Hoopla or Libby app, do you have to just can you just add the library or do you have to add a separate library card number or something to get both access to both?
Yeah, so for Libby, on the app, I think it's like the middle button. There should be like an add a library button. So it's going to add directly onto that direct account. And you'll notice that typically they take on different colors so you can see where the item's coming from. If you have problems, again, just call us and we might be able to walk you through it over the phone even. So pretty easy, pretty simple. And you can have, again, as many cards. I think I currently have 4 library cards on my Libby. So doing great. Hoopla, you're probably only going to have access through one library. So, like your home library, whatever county you're in. And for the most part, it's going to be the same across library systems. Hoopla's a little different. Libby kind of operates as a library in a digital space. Hoopla is a bit more instant access. So, a lot of the libraries you're going to see the exact same thing. It's just who you're borrowing it through. You have so many borrows through month. And
Yeah.
once you click borrow, it's going to be instant. Where Libby, you might be on hold, just like you would any normal book, and there's
Hmm.
people ahead of you. I can go into the more technicalities of those two, but that should explain, I think, the most of it. Again, call us or stop in if you have more specific questions, but both are great resources for kids' books, audiobooks. Again, Hoopla has movies and music, and I think both have magazines, so lots of different things to explore.
Yeah, magazines is something that is newer for me to have started downloading onto Libby, and it's really nice not to have that clutter of paper in the house and being able to access kind of a variety of things that you want to have a chance to look at. I'm glad to hear you talk about the funding. When budget cuts were coming through, there was some danger for libraries of having loss of funding. I heard a rumor that they were going to get rid of Libby, and I hyperventilated quite a bit. So it sounds like our library resources are relatively stable right now, and that we could should continue to advocate for it to stay that way.
Our library currently is always safe, but the best way to advocate for libraries is going and using your local library and sharing your love of it and making sure people also get library cards. So use your library. That's the best way to help us out.
I think that is about the perfect way for us to close out. So thank you both for spending so much time with us today. If you haven't been to the library for a while, what is stopping you? Get down to the library, go see some of the cool stuff that's there. At least go on the website and see what kind of classes are being offered, and I think it's going to spark you to want to go check something out.